Okay, so tell us about where you're at. It looks like we've got a schedule.
Well, basically, I just want to ask some questions regarding my
Great.
upcoming trial exams,
Go ahead.
just preparing and stuff. So I just
Cool.
want some tips to just split up, I suppose, my study in between now and then, and it's 2 weeks away at the moment.
Okay, so we've got 2 weeks and then it's a 2 week block. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I want you on that schedule to determine how much time you have on every day that you are going to spend studying. So it doesn't mean that literally how much time have you got and it all has to be spent studying, but give yourself a proper guide. Okay, like today I'm going to have 3 hours. Today I'm only going to have 1 hour. That day I'm going to have, like, maybe it's a weekend and I've got the whole day. I might have like 5 hours or whatever it is. And then you map out all of your content that you want, that you're going to need to know for the exams. And then you start to kind of go, okay, first of all, which are the most important ones? Okay, now the most important I would suggest are ones that feel like your weaknesses and ones that you know are highly likely to come up on the paper. Now, I know that we don't know what's going to come up, but when you go back and look at past papers, which is perfect that you've done that, you kind of will see things that, like, yeah, there's always some question on this kind of topic, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So definitely things that come up like pretty much every time. And then also the things that you feel are your weaknesses. And let me be clear to everyone why I say that. Because you want to bring up your weaknesses, because if they ask a significant question on one of the areas that's your weakness, you don't want to be scrabbling around with like nothing really to write or really struggling to put in, what is the concept or the calculation I need to do here? Because we all know, especially for those larger questions, let's say it's a 6 or an 8 mark question in perhaps like a physics or a math question or whatever, or maybe even higher, it's relatively easy to get a first few marks. Even if it doesn't go perfectly all the way through, you can pick up quite a lot of marks with some of the basics. Okay. So make sure you've got weaknesses and things that come up often are your priorities, and then start to slot them in. Now, you don't have to say, right, this is definitely going to be maths this day, this is definitely going to be bio this day, etc. You just need to know how much content am I going to get through. So if you've said this is a 3-star topic and you got 3 stars on that day, you would potentially want to be covering that whole topic on that day and getting it done. Because what I want you to be clear on is that it's outcome based, not time based. It's not, I'm going to spend 3 hours studying and who knows what gets done in that time. And because you've already prioritized, you absolutely want to make sure that those things that are top of your priority list are the ones that get slotted in first. You've got to prioritize. You've got to go by outcome rather than time. It can't be, I'm going to do 3 hours of study on a Monday, because I'm like, on what? And what are you going to expect to have covered in that time?
Another thing, when do you think I should stop doing notes and just going practice? Do you think it's like the halfway mark?
I think they're part of the same thing. I think you want to decide, if I'm covering this topic, how am I covering it? Am I best to cover that topic through notes, mind maps? I'm all about the transforming the information. So if it's in notes, turn it into a mind map or a flow chart or a character web or whatever. Or do I want to do, obviously, like with maths, like most of it's going to be practice questions.
Yeah.
Even if it's bio, it might be like, let me find myself 4 practice questions. I'm going to give those a go. You're welcome to forward them, like put them onto a coaching call. I can give you feedback on practice questions in terms of the exam technique. Yeah. And program that in and go, right, well, if I'm going to do the next coaching call, when do I need to get those questions done? That has to be an outcome in that particular time. It's just honestly, you're going to feel like, especially because I can tell you already a bit like, oh, there's not much time. You're going to feel like, I don't want to spend this amount of time planning. Okay. But if you don't plan it, it's going to fall apart anyway. So plan it really carefully, spend hours planning it, and it will repay you in more than hours for the next 2 weeks.